Sup, y'all? It's me. It's your boy Asmongold, and as a lot of you guys probably know, yesterday was the PvP Q&A between Brian Holinka, who's the lead PvP guy at Blizzard that everybody always gets mad about, and then Laura, who's the community manager. Laura asked him a bunch of questions that I'm assuming were submitted through the general forums and through Twitter, and then after that they brought on Jeremy McIntyre, who is the lead esports guy at Blizzard for WoW. Now, I think that with how pissed off people are about PvP and Legion, that I think everybody was kind of expecting to hear like all these groundbreaking paradigm shift announcements, and I regret to inform you guys that there really weren't too many of those. There was some good news, some kind of like things that I'm not really too thrilled about, and I'm going to talk about both of those in this video. And this is going to be kind of a summary, so I'm not going to be going over all the little bits and having a huge discussion about it, but I'm going to let you guys know pretty much what's going on. Now, one thing that I've really got to say here is that they've really got to do something. I don't know if this is going to do it or what's going to do it, but they've got to do something to get people back into PvP. Like, people are demoralized, they fucking hate it, nobody watches it. Like, if I stream PvP, if I do into a battleground, my viewers go down. If I make a video about PvP, nobody watches it. Like, I can make a video about how to get a shirt from 4 expansions ago. I'm talking about Precious's ribbon, and that video can get more views than a video about all of PvP. Like, how are you going to try and get a shirt, man, like, more than PvP? Like, that's kind of sad to me in a lot of ways. Growing up watching Swifty, watching, Vertnoon, watching, Lane Time, Pat, like, all these videos that were this fucking badass PvP videos, and now, you just got, some stream highlights or something like that where people are, like, AFK in the graveyard reading out donations and occasionally kill somebody in a Warsong Gulch. PvP has really, it's not good, okay? They've got to do something. And I want to talk to you guys about what they're planning on doing. Now, I'm going to go through these, as I said before. It's a summary video. I'm not going to go through everything, but I'm going to talk about what I think is important. Now, the first thing that they addressed was the elephant in the room, the thing that everybody's mad about, the fact that you can only get gear through RNG. Basically, they said that you're going to be able to melt down that gear in the Obliterum Forge, which, by the way, is going to be free in 7.2, and I think you need a certain amount of items. Like, you have to melt down, like, let's say, like, 5 helmets, and you can buy a shoulder piece, or you can buy a token of whatever slot that you want the gear from. So there is a way that you can deterministically work towards a set, right? Which I think is a really good change. I'm not really sure. I think that whenever you buy them, you're going to buy an item and then you click on the item and it identifies the item, like in Diablo. Like in Diablo, the rest of the Legion. But you're going to identify the item, and it's going to have random stats, random item level, random socket, random everything. So I think that's pretty much what they're going for. I think this is a good change. I'm happy about it. It's definitely a positive thing. The only thing that I really was kind of bothered by is that the way that Holinka described and kind of advocated for the RNG method of gearing, the types of words that he used and the way that he described it was pretty much identical to how you would describe a slot machine with the variable reinforcement schedule, Skinner box gameplay that I think that everybody fucking hates. But I'm really, really worried about that. I hope that Blizzard devs can fucking get off of that and let people work towards something. I think that's a big problem in PvP and the game in general, and I think that a lot of people's apathy in PvP is because of that. And also, I'm not going to get into that too much because I talked about that, but that's the way I feel. Bonus rolls, you're going to be able to use your bonus rolls whenever you complete your weekly world quest. I'm not really sure when specifically, but basically you're going to be able to apply your bonus roll coins, like the Seal of Broken Fate or whatever. You're going to be able to apply those to the PvP weekly thing. So, the thing where you have to win, was it like 10 2v2 matches, 10 3v3 matches, and 3 RPG matches, and after you win 3 of whichever one of those you want to, you can do all 3 too, you get a piece of gear, and so you can bonus roll that and get more PvP gear. I think that's good. It gives PvPers a reason to actually use those items, because before that they didn't really have any. Also, I talked about mounts. Basically, the PvP Vicious Gladiator mounts, like the Vicious Gladiator's Horse, like the old RBG mounts that now you can get them through like 40 RBG wins or 100 3v3 wins. Those are going to be account-wide, which is that's cool. I mean, I was already done pretty much collecting them, but either way, that's good. Also, this might concern other people. Not me, though. is that gladiator mounts will remain character specific. So that means that my warrior, I will still have 0. Leveling in PvP is going to go faster. Alright, that's good. PvP gear ensembles. Basically, they're going to allow you to buy ensembles for the previous set of PvP gear, but not the current set. They want you to work towards the current set with the RNG method, which is, I guess, kind of okay because you're going to be able to melt down the gear with the Obliterum Forge. And also, by the way, if I didn't mention it, there's going to be 2 different types of, like, the PvP gear Obliterum. There's the normal mode PvP gear Obliterum and also the elite mode PvP gear Obliterum. So it's not like, you know, you can put together 10 of them or 5 of them, there's a chance of your normal mode gear turning into elite gear. Obviously, it can be any item level, I'm assuming, but it can't actually have that elite appearance, which is kind of good. Also, they talked a little bit about duels. They might add PvP templates to duels. I don't really care, honestly. They talked about doing 1v1 war games. I feel like if they're going to do something like that, they talked about having like a PvP hangout, right? So in vanilla, it was outside Ironforge and also Burning Crusade. Sometimes it was right outside Shatrath and Dalaran. It was in the sewers. In Cataclysm, it was outside Stormwind. In Mists of Pandaria, it was outside that little thing on the Great Wall of Pandaria. And in Warlords of Draenor, it was just right in the town in front of everybody, which is insanely ridiculous. And now there is really no PvP hangout where everybody that's like a PvPer comes to duel and just sit around with the other PvPers and, you know, ride on their spectral tigers with their silly names. But, you know, I think that would be cool if they made a PvP hangout, like someplace. That's what I was saying, like, the other day, is, like, they need to make, like, a place where you can go to, like, buy all the PvP gear. And so that would kind of get all the PvPers to congregate there, get them socializing, talking with each other, memeing at each other, all that kind of stuff. And I think that would be good for everybody. It allows them to meet each other and duel with each other, all that. I don't really think they should add the PvP templates to duels, though. I think it's stupid and it's a waste of time. If you want to do if you want to have a PvP template, you know, I think that what they really should do is they should have an area in that PvP hangout. What they said, they should have an area there that just applies your PvP template stats right there in that area, and then you can duel, and so it would automatically be applied, so there wouldn't really be any need to move in and out. I think Laura also suggested that, which was a very, very good idea. They said they're going to do 1v1 war games, and they might do it. Apparently it's complicated. I'm not really sure why, but apparently it is, so hopefully they do that. I have no idea. World PvP, they're thinking about removing the legendary bonuses and also the set bonuses in World PvP. It sounds completely fucking retarded, in my opinion. I think if the damage is too high in World PvP, they should add a global, you know, damage reduction modifier to everybody, because obviously your damage and healing and everything is different in PvP to begin with. So just changing it in out-of-world PvP, I don't think anybody would really be able to notice that. In a lot of ways. I think that would be the best way of handling it, but they said they're not going to do it like that, or they might not do it like that. Another thing they could also do is just make all the gear have more stamina on it in order for it to kind of just scale that way anyway, and just make sure the secondary stats don't scale as much. There are a lot of different ways they can handle it, and I feel like disabling the legendary and set bonuses is really kind of stupid in my opinion. Also, solo queuing. A lot of people are wondering about solo queuing in WoW. Now, every game has this, like Overwatch. I mean, like Heroes of the Storm. Like other Blizzard games have this. CS:GO, League of Legends has competitive solo queue. Basically, almost every game has competitive solo queue except for WoW. And WoW is a unique game because you're playing a specific character. And I honestly don't really think the solo queue is going to work in WoW if they applied the same rating. If they had like one rating where this is like your team rating where you played like, you know, organized, structured PvP. I guess like if you queue in with a team, right? There's one rating where you queue in with a team and one solo queue rating. I think that would be the best way of handling it and kind of allowing solo queue to kind of be that pseudo ranked play where people can kind of maybe find other players that are very good and interact with them and play with them and add them and maybe take them over to the rated teams. But I think if they combine the ratings, it's just going to be a complete disaster. And that's basically what they said, and from the way that Holinka was talking about it, it's probably not going to happen. And that really kind of goes into the whole finding groups thing. Like the way that works, right? The way that it works is that it's very hard for people to find like solid PvP partners. And the group finder works in a lot of ways, but I think that it kind of I feel like if you were able to make like a WoW dating profile, right, where you could say like you could just mouse over a player, right, and you could see what their highest 2v2, 3v3, well, rep 5v5, RBG rating is, what their current item level is, and you can just mouse over that player and you can automatically evaluate them on the spot without having to look them up, because it's like in PvP. It's really, really fucking annoying to have to play with clowns, right? Even more than raiding, I think. So giving people those extra tools can also work in PvE as well. Just giving people more ways to evaluate players, on the fly, on the spot, in terms of actually looking at them in a group finder, having those little bits of data and information. You can like right click more information on a player and you can go through all of their different bits of information. I think that would be the best way of doing it, and then players could customize it themselves with like a little bit like an about me, or I'm thinking of like a dating profile, but what types of things I like to kill, or I don't know, something that's really actually fucking cringy, but you guys know what I'm saying. It's like giving people a way that they can kind of take that little template and fill it out with bits of information about themselves, so people can more easily find teammates. I think that would be a positive thing. Rated battlegrounds, as I've said before, have been very, very underused and underrepresented in terms of PvP, like tournaments and everything like that. And one of the reasons for that is that a lot of rated battleground teams are like 5 Moonkins, maybe 2 Shadow Priests, and 3 Mistweavers. Okay, it's rank 1 RBG team. I actually have no fucking idea, but it seems like it, right? Those are the examples that they used in the video. So basically, class stacking in RBGs is obviously a problem, but Holinka said that as long as there are different types of PvP, right? So if a class is very good in RBGs, maybe it might be that good in 3v3. Or if a class is very good in duels, maybe it might not be good. If there's a class like a warrior that's not good at anything, fix warriors, please. Anyway, that would be really good. Anyway, they might also let people know whenever you're going to be, like, what the title cutoffs are going to be. So, like, right now, you just have to go through Arena Mate, and, like, last season it was completely wrong. So they're going to probably add some sort of like a feature on the website, the official website, of like what the title cutoffs are going to be, even though they're not going to be entirely accurate. And then they were also talking about being a little bit more transparent with these stat templates, and they were talking about how putting the stat templates on the website is going to confuse players, right? It's like, if you're that easily confused, I don't think that you can even open up the web browser, for one. 2, how is that going to confuse anybody, right? I really just don't see how it would. And even if it would confuse somebody just for a second, they just play it and find out. It seems like it would be something that, is a third-party thing in a way. It's not really a third-party thing, but you have to go like outside the game to find it out. So anybody that really is like super casual and doesn't really care a lot, they're not even going to interface with this in the first place. So I think they should just put the templates up on the website, but apparently they're worried about somebody going on there and getting confused, or at least that's what I got out of it. It was really kind of silly to me. I don't know. Apparently, Mistwalkers, or sorry, not Mistwalk. Well, they basically might as well be called Mistwalkers in PvP because they all have that talent. Mistweavers, the Mistwalk is getting like removed or something like that, or they're changing it to where they don't really have quite as much mobility. World Defense might come back for RP servers. Arena participation is apparently very high, even though all the viewership, it's like the PvP Q&A, like this one here had like 6,000 viewers, right? It's like the other Q&A sessions had like 15, 10, 15, 20K viewers. It's like the PvP thing had 6K. Where are all these people that are participating in PvP? Are they just doing their 10 wins for gear or something? It sure seems like them saying their participation numbers are very good right now don't reflect any of the external metrics that I can look at. Okay, let me just say that. Also, so for esports, they're going to add more tournaments for WoW. They're also going to let like GCD TV, which is another like very good tournament, I guess like a third-party tournament system for WoW, and they run their own tournaments. They're going to allow those people wins in GCD TV will count towards like the finals and everything. They're going to have more teams, more prizes, all that kind of stuff. which is, I think, a good thing too. Again, I think that really they have to build the community from the ground up, not the top up. Because really, there's not really a lot above the top. But what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter how many bits of incentivization. If you really want to grow the audience and you want to make it more appealing for sponsors and everything like that, you have to make sure that whenever a sponsor puts their logo on somebody's shirt, that that logo is seen by as many people as possible. So what they really need to do is find out a way to engage more people with those PvP events. I think that incentivizing them or having them on the launcher or having some other sort of incentivization for PvP to watch these games is going to be a really positive thing. So basically them building that core audience and being able to watch teams and see them evolve, and that was something that they specifically addressed, that's going to be their biggest challenge. Incentivizing high-level players, I feel like that's a relatively easy thing because it just really has to go with money. And no matter what level the game is at, there's always going to be a high level of player that are going to be willing to compete in tournaments. It's really being able to have a group of people who are willing to root for that player and or that team or whatever. And I feel like that's really what's lacking, not the people at the top. I think that's also a different problem, but for the most part, I think money will solve that problem, and also increased viewership will solve that problem too. It's kind of like a symbiotic relationship where the more people that are involved in something, the more money it's worth. The more money it's worth, the more players want to play it, and the more people that are playing it in a way that creates more viewership. So they really just kind of have to get that whole ball rolling. And right now, they are addressing one bit of it, which is good. But I really do look forward to seeing what they're going to do with the rest of it. But anyway, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and scroll up. I think they did a blue post about this. No, it's just basically like more specifics for the regionals and like the teams and everything like that, which isn't really too big of a deal. They're basically going to have more regionals, more teams, more everything, right? So that's good. As I said, they just need to build the audience from the ground up, and the best way that they're going to do that is making PvP engaging for players on a casual level. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much what happened in the PvP Q&A. I thought it was really good. For the most part, the Jeremy McIntyre, we've never really seen him on camera before. I really felt like, especially compared to Holinka, and I mean, I'm not saying that Holinka doesn't care, right? Because that would be stupid and like completely rude and presumptuous for me to say, but I really did feel like the Jeremy McIntyre, whenever he came on, it seemed like he was really passionate and he really cared about WoW Esports. And just seeing people who are positive like that and who want to be there and want to talk about it, and it seemed like he was really passionate about the subject, and I think that's a really positive thing. So I'm glad that he's in charge of it, or not in charge of it. I don't know if he is or not, but he's involved with it, and I hope to see more from him in the future. But anyway, that's pretty much all I got. So thank you guys very much for watching, and like, comments, and subscribe.